This is Mac OS Ken.
One crazy session on Wall Street, a questionable report on iPhone from Bloomberg, and Apple asked for a stay on App Store changes. It is Thursday, the 2nd of December, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Midday Wednesday, it looked like we would be talking about another record day for Apple shares. A piece from MarketWatch just after noon on the East Coast had the Dow up 350 points and Apple up $4.38. At one point, shares were up as high as $170.30, which marks a new intraday high for the stock. With the shares scaling such heights, it was kind of surprising when I looked later and saw the Dow had closed down 416, the Nasdaq was off 283, and Apple ended the day down 53 cents. Not terrible, unless you count the part where it had been nearly $6 higher at the day's highest point. So what happened? Well, the U.S. caught its first case of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Anyway, that's what a piece from CNBC chalks the fall up to. The site says the reversal came after the CDC reported the country's first case of the new, heavily mutated coronavirus variant called Omicron in California. While it is foolish to try to predict anything that's going to happen in a given day, hard to imagine today's going to be better for Apple shares than yesterday. Bloomberg hit with the story Wednesday evening, saying Apple has told suppliers that demand for iPhone has slowed. Secret people from who knows where have Apple telling component suppliers that demand for the iPhone 13 lineup has weakened, signaling that some consumers have decided against trying to get the hard-to-find item. Apple had already forecast headwinds in the neighborhood of $8 billion. Rumors and reports also had Apple cutting iPhone production by 10 million units this quarter, thanks to a lack of components. But, says Bloomberg, the hope was to make up much of the shortfall next year when supply is expected to improve. The company is now informing its vendors that those orders may not materialize according to the people who asked not to be identified because the discussions are private. The piece goes on to say shortages and delivery delays have frustrated many consumers, and with inflation and the Omicron variant bringing fresh concerns to pandemic-wary shoppers, they may forego some purchases. One more point that Bloomberg seems to see as support for its argument: the iPhone 13 isn't as hard to get as it once was. Apple shoppers in the U.S. have been waiting about a month for the much-prized Pro model to be delivered. Now wait times are down to 2 weeks or less. Okay, let's start there. That was going to happen for a couple of reasons. The first being that the phone's been out for a while, and second being that Apple has reportedly thrown extra effort into making sure there are enough units across the iPhone 13 line for the holidays. Additionally, everything we have heard from every analyst we've heard from to this point has indicated that sales missed this quarter will be made up next quarter. Then we have to circle back to not knowing who these sources are for Bloomberg. It's worth noting the publication says Apple is still on track for a record holiday quarter, though not as big a record as initially anticipated. As for the potentially lost sales, I'm not saying the Bloomberg piece is incorrect. I don't know. But the word is coming from we don't know how many people from we don't know where. I'll be curious to see whether anyone in Apple's supply chain refutes the Bloomberg report. It seems unlikely that Apple will do so. The company declined to comment for the Bloomberg piece. A data point that some may see as troublesome from UBS analyst David Vogt. A short post from The Fly had the analyst noting modest easing in iPhone wait times. According to the piece, data from UBS Evidence Lab suggests that while wait times for the company's highest-priced iPhone 13 Pro Max in all of the key regions remain elevated, they are also seeing some modest improvement. No doubt that will be seen by some as a sign of waning interest in iPhone 13. For his part, Vogt says the shorter waits coincide with improvements in the supply chain. The piece has several suppliers noting that December production should be better than November. But Bloomberg. Vogt has a buy rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $175. It is crunch time for changes ordered in the App Store, and Apple is trying to make it stop. Bloomberg has a verifiable story about Apple asking a higher court to halt a judge's decision that'll force changes to its App Store while a legal fight with Epic Games continues. These are the changes ordered and reordered by U.S. District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers. She had ruled that Apple had to allow developers to tell customers about payment methods outside the App Store inside their apps. Apple asked her to stay that order until the Epic fight was done. She said no. Apple said it would appeal, and now it has. The company is quoted as saying in the appeal, given the injunction's effective date of the 9th of December, Apple seeks immediate entry of an administrative stay that would expire 30 days after the court's ruling on the stay motion. Without that, the company says the App Store will have to be reconfigured to the detriment of consumers, developers, and Apple itself. Apple is hoping for an answer no later than the 8th of December because the 9th is when this is all supposed to go down. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion. One workspace for your whole team. With hybrid work becoming the norm, the strongest teams have two things in common: speed and alignment. Both come from having one hub where everyone can share work and processes, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity. Notion can be that for your team. For companies of all sizes, Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all teams together to get more done and move faster. Companies of all sizes, Figma, Axios, Headspace, Duolingo, and so many more companies you know and use Notion. And those companies make it easier for your company. Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. You're not only using the tools they use, you can use them the way they use them as well. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many people as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today, again, at notion.so. One of Project Titan's tenders is headed to the sky. 9to5 Mac says Michael Schwekich has left Apple Park for a job with Archer. Archer is a startup focused on electric aviation, according to the report. Interestingly, Electric Aviation is My Jefferson Airplane cover band. Friday at the Rickshaw. Tell your friends. 9to5 Mac calls the departure the latest in a revolving door situation surrounding Apple's car project. At the same time, Schwekich may have a penchant for becoming a bigger fish in successively smaller ponds. He left Tesla for Apple in 2019, joining Cupertino as Senior Director of Engineering for the Special Projects Group. No, Apple is not smaller than Tesla, though Apple's car push is certainly smaller than the other companies. Archer is certainly smaller than both. Schweikich now serves that company as SVP of Engineering, according to the report. Apple TV Plus has landed another big series with a big director and some pretty big stars. The company issued a press release Wednesday saying that it has ordered the thriller series Disclaimer from Academy Award-winning director Alfonso Cuarón. Cuarón will actually write, direct, and executive produce the series, which will star Academy Award winner Cate Blanchett and Academy Award winner Kevin Kline. Based on the novel of the same name, the release says Disclaimer will star Blanchett as Catherine Ravenscroft, a successful and respected television documentary journalist whose work has been built on revealing the concealed transgressions of long-respected institutions. When an intriguing novel written by a widower, played by Kline, appears on her bedside table, she is horrified to realize she is a key character in a story that she had hoped was long buried in the past, a story that reveals her darkest secret, a secret she thought was hers alone. No word on when the series will land in Apple's stream. People of Berlin have a new Apple store to take their breath away. Yeah, I know, but I was powerless against it. Apple Insider says the city's second Apple store, Apple Rosenthaler Straße, is set to open today, Thursday, the 2nd of December. Located in the Mitte borough, the piece says as part of the grand opening, Today at Apple will host Parallel Universe, a collective of illustrators from Berlin. Each artist will draw their unique interpretation of Mitte's creative spirit on an iPad Pro. Opening day is by appointment only, though walk-ins will be welcome beginning Friday, the 3rd of December. Masks will be required, and if you could not stand so close to anybody else, that'd be great. And finally today, another iPhone turning point is turning vintage. Mac Rumors says Apple is adding iPhone 6 Plus to the nearly obsolete list later this month. Actually, as late this month as you can. It'll hit vintage on the 31st of December. Introduced in September 2014, the piece says the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus were two of the most popular smartphones that Apple has ever sold, with the devices featuring larger 4.7-inch and 5.5-inch displays that customers had long desired. It was actually an iPhone turning point for a few reasons. I was reading in my grid-framed iPhone 6 that when it came out, it was the first big redesign for iPhone since iPhone 4. It had those bigger screens mentioned a moment ago, and it was the first iPhone to support Apple Pay. While iPhone 6 stayed on the market until 2018, Apple discontinued the 6 Plus in 2016, 5 years ago, which is how it turns up vintage. That designation is for products discontinued more than 5 years prior, but less than 7. Vintage products can still be serviced by Apple and Apple-authorized service providers, provided there are parts available for them. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.